To our Connection to the Promise Bible study. I'm your pastor, Jason Wilson, and I'm joined by Christine Bailey, author and speaker. How you doing this evening?
I am blessed. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Awesome. And
Amen.
yes, I'm excited about this word tonight because, Christine, I think that in a lot of situations in life, we face some hardship. And the enemy, what he wants to do is get you to the point where you're so overwhelmed with the situation that you feel so helpless
Hmm.
and you don't have any hope and you don't see any way out of that situation. And that's when you get desperate. And people resort to desperate measures, commit suicide, and all kinds of things along that nature. But tonight's message is to give you hope that no matter what that situation looks like, God has given you the authority to deal with it. And so, when I was taught this lesson years ago, before I actually left the country and came
Hmm.
here to Colombia, it gave me so much hope, faith, to a level that I wasn't expecting. And I don't know if you've ever seen this, Christine, but if you haven't, it'll be great for tonight's discussion. And so let us go to Ezekiel chapter 28 and 12.
Okay.
And I
And
have the King James. You have the Amplified. So you
yes.
can read in the Amplified, and I'll continue with the King James.
Okay. And it
Okay.
says, Son of man, take up a dirge funeral poem to be sung for the king of Tyre, and say to him, Thus says the Lord God, you had the full measure of perfection and the finishing touch of completeness, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering: the ruby, the topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the lapis lazuli, the turquoise, and the emerald, and the gold. The workmanship of your settings and your sockets was in you. They were prepared on the day that you were created. You were the anointed cherub who covers and protects, and I placed you there. You were on the holy mountain of God. You walked in the midst of the stones of fire, sparkling jewels. You were blameless in your ways. From the day you were created until unrighteousness and evil were found in you. Through the abundance of your commerce, you were internally filled with lawlessness and violence, and you sinned. Therefore, I have cast you out as a profane and unholy thing from the mountain of God, and I have destroyed you, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Your heart was proud and arrogant because of your beauty. You destroyed your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. I cast you to the ground. I lay before kings. I lay you before kings, that they might look at you. You profaned your sanctuaries by the great quantity of your sins, and by the enormity of your guilt, by the unrighteousness of your trade. Therefore, I have brought forth a fire from your midst. It has consumed you, and I have reduced you to ashes on the earth, in the sight of all who look at you. All the peoples, nations who knew you are appalled at you. You have come to a horrible and terrifying end, and you will forever cease to be.
Okay. So,
Wow.
have you seen this before?
Wow, wow, wow.
Okay. So the thing about this, he's comparing this king of Tyre. And this king became so consumed with his jealousy and his wrath, and he took it out on the people that he was governing. in his town. And so, people wonder why it is, at least I wonder why, that the enemy has so much contempt for humanity and why he wants to destroy us so much. And, would go to any length to destroy people's lives and, bring them down to hell where he is. Well, in the beginning, he was created as an archangel, and he was actually one of the seven. His name was Lucifer before he became Satan. And so, it goes into great detail about how he was actually created by God. So, he was actually the minister of music, and he had pipes within his body that played music. And, he was also in charge of the choir in heaven as well. And he had this amazing garment that God made for him, full of these precious jewels within it. And so everything was fine. It was all well and good until God created humans, and then Satan became jealous of the human beings and started to create havoc, wreak havoc on the earth in the Garden of Eden with the human beings. And so as a result of that, he thought that he had some power, more power than God, and waged a war in heaven against the other angels so that he could overthrow God and be the leader of heaven. Well, it didn't work out too well. He lost that war, and God kicked him and a third of the angels that were actually, had committed high treason and had taken Satan's side in the war. God kicked them all out of heaven and down to the earth. And so now they're trapped in hell, which is a real place, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you've ever seen hell, but I've never seen it. But I've seen a demon, though, in a dream. And I'm telling you, it was the most horrific thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. Anything that you've seen in a horror movie with a demon, I'm telling you, it's nothing compared to what I saw. I don't even need to see it. And so, that's why, I'm leading this ministry and our soul sanctuary church, because God does not want any of his children to go down there. Once you get down there, there's no way out. And it is the most horrible place that you could ever even think of. I think, you remember Freddie Mercury, the singer of Queen?
Yeah.
I know it was him. He made the comment that, this is before he died now. He made the comment that, when he dies, he's going to go to hell and be performing in hell and have a good time and a party in hell. Listen, those demons, they do not care about what it was that you did while you were living. You will be tormented for eternity down there. And it is the most horrible experience that you can even think of. And there's several Christians that have had that testimony of being sent to hell by God just to see what it was like, so that they could be brought back to life and warn people.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I haven't been down there, but I've seen the demons. And you don't want to see anything like that. But the good news is that the Lord stripped Satan. We saw how he stripped Satan of all of his authority and basically laid him to waste in front of all the people in that town to see. So we're going to see what has happened to his authority that he had, that was given to him by God. Now we're going to go to Exodus chapter 28, verse 1. And let me go there here. Let me know when you're ready, Christine.
Oh, I'm ready.
You got it? Okay. All right. You can read.
Okay. Says, now bring your brother Aaron near, and his sons with him from among the sons of Israel, so that he may serve as priest to me. Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's sons. You want me to continue?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You are to make sacred garments, official clothing reserved for holy services, for Aaron your brother, for honor and for beauty, ornamentation. Tell all the skilled and talented people whom I have endowed with a spirit of wisdom that they are to make Aaron's garments to sanctify him and set him apart to serve as a priest for me. These are the garments which they shall make: a, a breastpiece and an ephod for the breastpiece, and a robe and a tunic of checkered work, a turban and a sash. They shall make sacred garments for Aaron your brother and his sons, so that he may serve as a priest to me. They are to use the gold and the blue and the purple and the scarlet fabric and fine twisted linen from the people. And they shall make the ephod of gold and blue, purple, and scarlet fabric, and fine twisted linen, skillfully woven and beautifully worked. It is to have two shoulder pieces, joined to its two back and front ends, so that it may be joined together. And the skillfully woven sash, which is on the ephod, shall be made of the same material of gold, of blue, purple, and scarlet fabric, and fine twisted linen. You shall take two onyx stones and engrave on them the names of the 12 sons of Israel, 6 of their names on one stone, and the remaining 6 names on each other stone, arranged in the order of their birth. With the work of a jeweler, like the engravings of a signet, you shall engrave the 2 stones according to the names of the sons of Israel. You shall have them set in filigree settings of gold. You shall put the 2 stones on the 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod of the high priest as memorial stones for Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names on his 2 shoulders as a memorial before the Lord. You shall make filigree settings of gold, and you are to make 2 chains of pure gold like twisted cords, and fasten the corded chains to the settings. You are to make a breastpiece of judgment, the work of a skilled and talented craftsman. Like the work of the ephod, you shall make it of gold, of blue, purple, and scarlet fabric, and of fine twisted linen. The breastpiece shall be square and folded double, a span about 9 inches in length and a span in width. You shall mount on it 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a row of ruby, topaz, and emerald. The second row a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. The third row a jacinth, and agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row a beryl, and an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold filigree.
Okay, you can stop there. Okay, did you see any stones that look familiar between this garment that God is having made for Aaron's sons, and then the ones that Satan had on his garment? You see any similarities there?
Wow. Wow,
Yeah,
wow, wow. You know, just the sound of the ones that I was just reading just now just sounds so beautiful. I can't even imagine all
yeah,
of those colors and wow.
yeah, yeah. So see,
Mm-mm-mm.
this is symbolic, highly symbolic, because it shows you how detailed God is
Yes.
when He's creating anything. I mean, it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that uh, He took the time to let Satan know in the very beginning how much He cared about him and how special he was. And he still committed high treason against God and did what he did. But as the punishment for that, God took all the authority that he had and gave it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Same detailed care, same,
Down
same,
to the detail.
same authority, same everything that Satan had. And we wonder why that when the enemy attacks us, that we become overwhelmed, we feel like we can't do anything. But we need to be reminded of this story tonight, that it doesn't matter what it looks like, we have the authority over him. And so, the thing about Satan now is that he cannot say anything and create anything. He doesn't have that creative power. That power was taken from him and given to us. So we're the only creation that's left now that can say something and create something. Now, I'm not going to say that, Satan or demons don't have any power. Yes, they do. They are supernatural beings as well. But the only thing that they can do, though, is give us suggestions in our mind. But see, what they have to do is they have to use our authority against us by giving us all these negative thoughts, suggesting all of these negative thoughts in our minds. And see, once we use our creative power and give voice to those negative thoughts, okay, see, now we've created a negative situation in our lives. That's how that works, ladies and gentlemen. So as long as yeah, go ahead.
It's funny that we're having this conversation because I just got off the phone with the gentleman and we
Uh-huh.
were talking about the exact same thing. And he was saying how he believes that people can get to us without us even knowing about it, and that we react to that. And
That's
he
true,
asked me how I felt about it, and I said, well, I believe if because we have the power. I
right?
said, but we also have the power to change that
Mm,
because we have a choice. We have a
yeah.
choice in the matter. And if you're going by what you're hearing and you know that it is not falling in alignment with God, then you need to take a pause and you need to really search that thing out. I said, because remember, the enemy looks like us, talks like us, dresses like us. Sometimes some of them even go to church with us and they're sitting right on the same seat that we're sitting on.
That's
So,
right.
so
Yeah.
that's when you really need to ask God for discernment,
Mm,
to know whether it's a friend or, as I call them, a frenemy.
hmm
you
mm,
know, and so you have to be careful of what you allow into yourself, whether it's your mind, your body, your spirit, your thoughts, because you're able to control it. But
yes.
if you leave that door open enough for it to get in, and then you keep going with it, then it is going to take over in a not so good way. So
Mm,
you have to be very, very careful with that.
yeah. Yeah. And the gentleman who was of concern to us, the open door for him is unforgiveness. And see, as long as he holds on to that, I'm not sure exactly how far that goes back, but in a lot of cases for us, that unforgiveness goes back to childhood. I mean, something that our parents did that we didn't forgive, or some other family member, neighbor, babysitter, in a lot of cases. So um, terrible things have happened to people in their childhood, and they hold on to that either consciously or subconsciously. And case in point, my mother, and I'm not going to tell all her business, but something terrible happened to her when she was 4 years old. And she never forgot it, of course. And it wasn't until she was 65 years old that she began to tell me some of this stuff. And I was wondering why all throughout her life she had these battles with her weight. And my grandmother, she never had problems with obesity or anything like that. But my grandmother did have kidney stones. And as a matter of fact, when she was young, I think she was like in her 20s, her late 20s, she had gotten so sick with her kidney problems that, she was laid up for weeks, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. And my mother was in high school when this was going on. And my grandmother couldn't go to work. She couldn't do anything. She was just laid up. And my mother said, listen, it's gotten to the point now where you need to go to the hospital. My grandmother didn't want to go. And my mother made her go to the hospital. And so when she finally got there, the doctor said, if you had waited one more day, your mother would have died.
Wow.
Her kidneys have ruptured from a kidney stone. Yeah. And so this kidney stone had grown to the size of a softball. It was so big. And so, that's not the only person that this has happened to. My sister. And see, this spirit of unforgiveness, it has attacked the women in my family. So my grandmother, my mom, my sister, all of these ladies have had bouts with kidney stones, something like some kind of cancerous growth in their uterus. My wife, not my wife, but my sister had some kind of cancerous growth. It wasn't something that was life-threatening, although it had grown to an enormous size as well. And so unforgiveness, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's one of the worst doors that the enemy can use against you to create havoc in your life, mental health issues, all kinds of stuff. And we've seen that happen to this gentleman right here on our broadcast. And, I pray for him. I just wish him well. But, the unforgiveness, though, that's something that a lot of people, Christians, have gone to hell for. They didn't know why. And one testimony that I saw that I talked about in our Bible study, this lady, she goes around the country, all around the United States right now, giving her testimony of how she was a Christian and a highly regarded Christian as well, but she had 2 kids. And she treated these children, awful while they were growing up. When they were infants, she had them in a car seat in the back of her car, and they were twins. And, like the material of the car seat was plastic. And it had gotten so hot one day that the children were crying because, their legs and everything were burning on this hot plastic on the car seat. And she was spanking them, telling them to stay in their car seat. And, when she went to hell, God reminded her of all these terrible things that she did against her kids. And so she wasn't disciplining her kids from the standpoint of wanting them to have better behavior. It wasn't about that. It was all about her taking her unresolved hurt out on her kids. And so, if you're a parent out there and, some terrible things have happened to you in the past, maybe it was your parents that did stuff to you, that's not, a license to treat your kids the same way that you were treated when you were growing up. We have to forgive, y'all. Mm-hmm. Anything to say on that, Christine?
Unforgiveness runs deep in my family. And it's mainly on my mother's side of the family. And it's just so sad to see because it's like, when is it going to end?
Mm-hmm.
Or what is it going to take? And so when I went home for my cousin's funeral in May, a lot of that stuff came back up.
Did it?
And it was so sad because even in the funeral, it was family members against one another.
Mm.
So you had a section of the family sitting over here, you had some sitting in the middle aisle, and then you had some sitting on the other side. And it was just sad because it's like we're all supposed to be sitting together,
Yeah.
but we were not. And it was
Mm.
just so, so sad that it just, it's like the enemy was just running rampant in her funeral service. And I was like, my God. You
Wow.
had people rolling their eyes at one another. And then after the service, some not wanting to speak to that one, or they get mad at you if they see you talking to this one. And it was like,
Mm.
I said, that's why I don't miss home,
Mm-hmm.
just because of that. I love to be able to go visit and then come back home, because it
Yeah.
is just so infested, and it's so infested, Jason, that it's even in the church,
Mm.
that they attend,
Uh-huh.
and it's sad. It
Wow.
is. It's a sad case, and it's like, God, are they going to get it right before their number comes up?
Mm.
It's
You know,
sad.
I tell you something else about my family on my mother's side, and I never even thought about this until recent years. When I was a kid, we would take vacations on a regular basis for summer. Either I went to Pensacola to spend time with my dad's family, or we took a summer vacation someplace else. And you know, I think I was maybe like 11, 12 years old the first time that we went to the Bahamas. And so I remember that my parents got a timeshare in Nassau. And so we went there like maybe 4 or 5 summers, like consecutively. And the interesting thing is that my mother's side of the family is from Barbados, right? I mean, another beautiful island.
Hmm.
But there was never any talk the whole time that I was growing up about Barbados. The only thing that I knew was that my great grandparents and all of the family on my mother's side was from Barbados, but there was never any talk about, oh, yes, let's make a trip to go to Barbados this year. Let's go see what it was like over. I mean, nothing. No talk at all. I don't know what happened in Barbados, but I'm telling you, I think that seed of unforgiveness starts there. That's what I think. So yeah, I'm gonna have to take a trip to Barbados one day and just check it out. The last name of my grandparents and my great grandparents was Ince. So, I gotta check that out and find out what happened there. But we have some comments from MJ, our friend MJ. Yes, we can be determined to not be our parents and then turn around and do the same to our own children. Yeah, we got to be careful about that.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. She also says, I praise God that my brothers and I have turned to the Lord and accepted his healing, and give us the strength and grace to forgive our parents for our childhood, that we were able to enjoy our mother's last days. And we are even closer now than we were as children. Oh, well, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah. God, y'all are fortunate, because a lot of siblings, and that sibling rivalry happens in a lot of families. And again, it's unforgiveness, it's jealousy, it's envy, it's all of those spirits that affect the parents, and it follows the children as well. And I think the only way out is forgiveness. That's the only way out.
The only way. Can't get past it. That's the only way.
Absolutely.
Because I have cousins that's dealing with that right now as far as their mother and their father goes, and it's like they're divided. Some is for the dad and not for the mom, and then just the opposite, and it's like you can't keep holding on to, and I understand, and it's like no way of trying to downplay what their childhood was like, because those cousins I was actually the closest to growing up, and so I remember, what their childhood was like, and it wasn't a good one.
Mm.
But now that, we're all grown, it's like they're still holding on. They're still holding on to those childhood moments, and it's ripping them apart. It really is.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is this something that's coming that came from your parents, or
It came from my mother's sister, one of her sisters. Yeah.
mm,
And so and it's just sad to see, because it was never dealt with. Their mom left them. It was five cousins, and
uh-huh.
they left them. She was in an abusive relationship.
Mm.
But the thing is, when she got better, she started doing better. She never came back for her kids.
What?
Yeah, she never came back for them, and they have carried that for a lot of years, because all of us are in our mid 40s and 50s now. Um, and actually, my cousin that passed in May, that was her youngest daughter, that
Uh-huh.
passed away in May. And so it's just a lot of envy. It's a lot of, I'm going to even say, hate, unforgiveness, and it is tearing them apart.
Wow. And you know what? Abandonment is another open door too.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, demonic spirits, they work in groups. So if it's abandonment that was the main open door, okay, it's going to bring with it envy and jealousy and all of its cousins to torment your life with, and your bloodline's life as well. So in a lot of cases where a person is demonically influenced by, let's say, the spirit of abandonment, right? And then so that brings with it the spirit of envy and three other spirits. Now you've become possessed.
Yeah.
And once that happens, then the only way out from there is deliverance. There's no other way that you can be freed from that kind of demonic attack.
Yeah.
If it's demonic influence, you can still get free by a simple prayer. But a deliverance service is something that's needed when it's possession.
Yeah.
Uh, let's hear from MJ again. As siblings, we had to separate our relationships with each from what our individual relationships were with our parents. That helped to let go of that jealousy and resentment of each other, realizing that it was rooted in our hurt brought on by our parents. Once we loved each other and united, we were able to individually heal our relationships with our mom. Okay. Interesting.
How do you, like for my cousins,
Hmm.
now their mom, which is my aunt, she has this look of, I don't owe my kids anything.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I don't care, that was in the past.
Hmm.
So I don't know, I don't owe them anything, and that's all that matters. And
Mm.
I had to say, I'm sorry, but you're wrong, because
Yeah.
you do, you do. And they deserve that. They deserve an explanation, because you've never sit them down and said, let's have a talk. Even though you divorced their dad, okay, that's all fine and good. But you never sit them down and explain to them, because the number one question is, why did you never come back for us?
Yeah.
And she would come home, and she would come visit, and she would stay at my parents' home,
Hmm.
and she never would reach out to her.
What?
And we would go to church, and then she would get upset because the kids wouldn't want anything to do with her. And it's like, how do you expect them to feel?
Mm.
I mean, you just pop up out of the clear blue. You've been here for a week. You haven't reached out to them. Nothing.
Mm.
And it's like, yeah, they deserve an explanation. They
Yeah.
they deserve that. They
Mm.
because they don't have closure.
Right.
That's what it is. They don't have closure.
Mm. Okay, so my question is, have the children confronted her on this? And she says, well, I don't owe you an
He
explanation.
says, I'm the mom, and I don't owe you an explanation.
Mm.
And she'll just stop talking to him.
Wow.
And it's like, how I can't imagine going. Well, I couldn't go a day without talking to my mom and my dad when they were living.
Uh-huh.
But how can you go months upon months upon months upon months without talking to your children? You
Mm.
got grandchildren, you got all these beautiful grandchildren. She has no relationship with her grandchildren at all.
Mm. I'm
She
going to
has
ask you this.
grandchildren, no relation.
Really? Do you think that there's any kind of witchcraft or something involved there?
I don't know. She was involved in a relationship,
Hmm.
and the kids were grown at the time, where her oldest daughter had come to visit, and she just kind of surprised her. And the
Uh-huh.
gentleman that my aunt was seeing, he was there. And he said, "Who are you again?" And he said, "Oh, I'm her oldest daughter." And he looked
Hmm.
at my aunt, and he said, "But she told me she didn't have any kids."
What?
Yeah.
She lied about having kids.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And he left because he said he couldn't be in a relationship like that. He said, because I don't understand how you deny having children. And she had five, you know.
Oh,
Yeah, she has five. And so my cousin was so, so hurt, because it was like, wow.
yeah.
And so
Gosh.
I don't know if she's dabbed in any type of witchcraft or anything, but that has always puzzled me, is how you block out. It's like you just, like they don't even exist.
Mm.
You,
No, that to me sounds like, of course, this is demonic, right? But
yeah.
I think this goes beyond a demonic attack. Sounds like she dabbled in something that would give her that kind of mindset. I mean, that's very, very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I I mean, I can't name any names because this is an ongoing
Right.
situation
Yeah.
in my family. But there's something like that happening in my family. Not in my immediate family or anything like that, but on my dad's side of the family.
Hmm.
And this woman, everybody is completely against. And I've heard stories not from one person but several people about this woman. And not only that, but a corroborating story from somebody else that was very close to me as well, who passed on.
Hmm.
But it's witchcraft. That's exactly what that is.
Boy, I tell you,
Yeah.
I said I can't even imagine, and I only have one, but I can't even imagine telling anyone that I didn't have a child, and
No.
and you have five. So
Right.
that,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
No, man. That's
it's sad. It is really
yeah.
sad. And they're like
Absolutely.
I said, the relationship is just it's so broken, so broken.
Hmm. Mm. I mean, I've heard of several cases where a woman would be in an abusive relationship like that. But I've never heard of a woman abandoning her kids like that. I mean, that's something else. Because no matter what, you still have a bond to your kids. No matter what you go through,
Right,
right? I mean, yeah.
yeah,
See what MJ says. That is a hard heart. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Boundaries and prayer for your cousin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that particular case calls for um, a deliverance service for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, do you know anything about her ex-husband?
Well, she was married twice. Now, the one that she was in the abusive relationship with, which is all of the kids' dad, uh,
Uh,
he's still living.
mm,
But he had a stroke, so now
mm,
he's paralyzed and he can't talk now.
oh,
So yeah, the her other husband, he was a very good guy, but he had a lot of health issues and he passed away. But she's been the one out of all of my mom's siblings that has always just been the most deceitful one. I mean,
mm,
she would rather tell a lie than to tell the truth.
mm-hmm.
It's like it would just come easy for her to just, and everybody is just looking at her like, where is she getting this from? Because my mom and none of her other sisters are like that. And so
Uh-huh.
it just throws me for a loop, and then when she says stuff and it's like, because her youngest daughter, the one that just passed, she was 43,
Mm-hmm.
and she had a problem with alcohol, and that's what she passed of was cirrhosis of the liver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she looked like she was 70, 80 years old. It was so sad seeing her at that funeral. And she was so small, and her stomach was huge from the liver, from the cirrhosis of the liver. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and she left behind a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
now that you say that, the woman that I was telling you about,
Hmm.
it's the same thing. I mean, she'll tell a lie, like it's a regular thing. And it could be the smallest thing that she tells a lie about, and you're wondering why. Okay, why even tell that story? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So she had called me one day and she loves talking about her and my mom were really close. My mom was the oldest.
Uh,
And she was telling me this story about me and my sister and her two kids. And she said, "Yeah, I remember when I used to babysit you guys and all of you girls, I would dress you guys alike and do your hair." And I said, "No, you didn't."
it wasn't true.
She said, "Yes, I did." Oh, you didn't. Like,
Wow.
it wasn't true. It never happened.
Uh-huh.
And we never lived with her. She lived with us. We never lived
Yeah.
with her, and it was like, no, that didn't happen. And I knew the hair port sure didn't happen because she couldn't do hair for nothing in the world. So I was like, yeah, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. It's like,
Wow.
but she would just rather just, like I say, just tell a lie. She can look you in the face and tell you a lie like, oh well, it's her truth. It's
Yeah.
pretty much her truth.
Mm,
It's just sad. It's so sad.
a spirit of lying. Yeah. Gosh. MJ gave us something else here. Ephesians 4:18 and 19. Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling have given themselves over to lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. Mm,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. A hard heart. Yeah, that's another open door. And that hard heart is made from unforgiveness. Again, I mean, it's the same spirit that causes that. Stuff from the past that you don't want to deal with. Yeah.
I
So,
thought
ladies and go ahead.
I didn't understand how hard she could be until my cousin passed and I rode down there with my other aunt and she had asked her, she said, "Have you called the kids to check on them?" She said, "No,
Hmm.
I'm not going to." And I'm like, but their sister, which is your baby girl, she just passed. You don't want to see how, no, no,
What? She
I'm
didn't
not
even want
going.
to go to the funeral.
Oh, she didn't. She didn't.
Oh man.
No, she didn't go to the funeral. She didn't call them.
Mm.
Yeah, it was sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Um, so yeah, the interesting thing is that when I go home towards the end of this year, I need to pay this woman a visit. Yeah. And I know I got to be. I know I'm being prepared for this meeting through this Bible study. Um, yeah, I know that I can't approach it from an angry spirit or anything like that. I need to have compassion with this person because the thing about it is that she's gone through a tremendous amount of health problems, and a lot of it came from having car accidents. Yeah, and I mean, you have to wonder, at a certain point, you have one bad car accident. That's one thing. And you start to have a series of car accidents. Okay, it's no longer an accident.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
It's happening,
Yeah.
you know. So, yeah, I'm being prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And so, Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, I pray that this message blessed you. It doesn't matter what your situation looks like. Again, God is with you. He's on your side. He's given you the authority to speak and create in situations where it looks impossible. So if that devil is telling you on a day-to-day basis, oh, you're poor, you'll never make it. No, I'm rich. It's all right to have that thought. I mean, it's impossible to eliminate those thoughts from coming to your mind. But what you can do, though, you can take authority over those thoughts and speak the opposite. You can do that. And that takes discipline. It takes being grounded in the Word of God every single day, reading the Word of God, listening to the Word of God, surrounding yourself by people that believe in God too, talk about the Lord, and keep their thoughts positive. You want to surround yourself by positive people, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll leave you with that. God bless y'all. God bless you, Christine. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And thank you as well, MJ. We love you. We're looking forward to your message tomorrow. And have a great night, everyone. Take care. See you in the morning at 8 o'clock Colombia and 9 o'clock Eastern. Take care.
Good night.